Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Milky Jo, and this is the Milky Jo Zombie Show. In this episode, I will give you a rundown on all the latest zombie news from around the web. Also, I'll be talking about the new outbreak zone added this week, Collateral. Is it Tom Cruise or is it just more reasons to snooze? We'll find out. So I'm going to start by talking about the new map added this week, Collateral. The first map featured to be set outside of the Ural mountain zone, and as all the previous maps have actually been in the Ural, I think that's the right word, Ural mountains. From what I've seen and played of the new map, there's no Easter eggs. The map is set in the desert. It's a really nice map to look at, but it still feels really empty. I mean, there's obviously going to be a few new bits of intel for people to find that have been doing that. A new vehicle, there's the new Ethereum extraction, but without anything else or without an Easter egg, I can just see it becoming another just forgettable zone really as you're scooting through. I mean, I've wanted more zones added to Outbreak so that you're going from map to map, you're going from zone to zone, but something still feels slightly off about the whole Outbreak mode. It just doesn't feel. I mean, personally, I would like to see some sort of horde mode, where it just gets really, really busy. Maybe that's not what Treyarch had in mind, and maybe there is still to come from Outbreak, but I can just, with the fact there isn't an Easter egg on the new map, and if they didn't put 2 Easter eggs in on previous maps, I could see a lot of players would have, switched off. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe people are still enjoying it, but to me it still feels a little bit empty. Like I say, I'd like to see a horde mode, some different sort of mode added. Let me know in the comments what you think, if there's anything you'd like to see added to the Outbreak. So in other news, this week there's news that Treyarch are in charge of the zombie development for this year's Zombie Sledgehammer's Vanguard COD title. I tried to get in the zombies on World War One. Some people told me it was really good. I struggled to get into it. I think I only played 2 of the DLCs, so I'm more than happy that Treyarch have actually got the zombie development this year. I mean, we see a bit of continuity in future, in days gone by. You have that gap year, and sometimes there wasn't even a mode where zombies should have been. So I'm really happy that to know that come November time or whatever, we'll have more zombies. So that keeps me happy. And there's also talk of Zombies Chronicles 2 being added to this title, so I would love that as well. The mechanics I say Outbreak feels empty, but the mechanics of Outbreak and then going to zombies in the main game feel really good. They feel like the best that I've known them in a zombie game. So to have the Zombies Chronicles 2 with those sort of mechanics, I really, really would like that. So I hope there is some truth in that in this, that there will be a Zombies Chronicles 2 coming out next year that'll be part of the even Treyarch are doing the game, but it's Sledgehammer's version of the game. Also, I'd just like to touch upon the current Easter egg situation. Now, I've read a lot about this, and apparently Treyarch said that there was so many percentage of the reason why the Easter eggs have become easier now in the main game is because they made so many of them, and they obviously put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes, and a lot of these Easter eggs weren't being completed. Now, I feel for veteran players, they should still be putting these hard Easter eggs in. So if you're a veteran player and you want to look for the hard Easter egg, then you're going to get the harder Easter egg achievement. I noticed trophies aren't really a thing no more, where you used to Shadows of Evil, you'd have 10 trophies that were associated with that map, etc. So but I would like I mean, I know that Shadows of Evil, even Origins, we're going back a bit, and maybe Treyarch aren't the same studio as they were back then, but I just feel that there should be, if you want an easier Easter egg, or these current Easter eggs that kind of like have been made easier, they can be there. But then a harder style Easter egg, kind of like on your die rise, you had 2 ways of doing it. I think you had Maxis, one way of doing it, and then you had a harder sort of Easter. There was a couple of the old wave-based zombies maps where you could kind of do the Easter egg 2 different ways, but I certainly feel that they've kind of cheated on the veteran. It's all, oh well, no one did it, it's got to be easier for the current player, etc., etc. But I just miss the old, I mean, let's go back to Buried. If any of you have ever done the Buried Easter egg, there was a bit at the end where all four of you had to be spot on or you were never doing it. You know, if one of you got your thing wrong. And the other, you know, like when you actually did that as a four and the feeling you got, I just don't think that you're re-experiencing or you're going to get that feeling on these current Easter eggs. They just seem too scripted, too easy, you're following a pattern. Some of the old Easter eggs were really good and maybe they struck chords, and I just don't think the new Easter eggs. Also, another thing, I mean, I was watching as a few YouTubers were actually together trying to complete the Easter egg. And one of the things I noticed on the Toten, you've got all these people in the chat. And so the people that were playing the Easter egg are going, oh, well, chat can... So obviously the chat are looking at, you know, 5, 6 different YouTube accounts. And then they're coming back and they're actually telling the people that I was watching at the time, oh, they found this here, they found that there. And I just think that's, you know, another thing that's kind of dampened the whole... The Easter egg was completed in, what, a couple of hours, an hour and a half or whatever. Is it any surprise when people in the chat are looking around the whole of YouTube, finding the next step, and then just forwarding it on to... So maybe that's something in itself which it's a bit of a shame, but maybe it's a rod for its own back that you know, people are desperate to get these Easter eggs done, their guides in and everything posted up, but at what cost? You know, I remember back in the day, some of these Easter eggs could have taken us, you know, 2 to 3 weeks to complete. You'd get so far on a step every time and then you'd die, but then you'd play it again, you'd get further. And like I said, you've got that real kind of sense of achievement, like, yes, we got that, we did it, we got this, we did that. And that just seems missing from the current game. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, yet again, tell me your thoughts, leave a comment below if you'd like to. But I certainly think that current zombies, the Easter eggs, they're not as good as they once were. Obviously, that's my opinion. It's other people, you know, might think that they're better than they've ever been. So who knows on that. Another thing that really bugs me, I mean, where is grief or a turnstile game in this kind of zombies? You know, before we've had other game modes and we've got nothing here other than, okay, so don't get me wrong, you got Outbreak and that is huge in itself, but I really would like to see grief back. You know, something with a more competitive team-based mode with leaderboards. I think could create something really, really special within the zombies game. Tell me what you think. Yet again, if you've got you can always leave me a comment below if that's something you would like to see. Another thing I find really odd that I'd just like to touch upon is going back to Toten. So the Gersh grenade, and it's really expensive. It's not cheap at all to buy. It's really expensive with salvage. It's not even used in the Easter egg, which seems really strange in itself. I mean, is there more to that than what do you think? Yet again, if you've got, you know, let me know. Leave a comment if you do listen. Is there more to the Gersh? So, yeah, also this week we got the new perk, Death Perception. I know a lot of zombie players were hoping for double tap or PH Flopper. I know I certainly was. I actually think PH Flopper could be great fun. It could make a lot of difference on some of the maps. If you can imagine in Outbreak going on one of like the trampolines to trampoline across the map and then coming down with the PH Flopper, I think that would be great. So yeah, and let me know what you feel on that. Is that something that can actually change the dynamics and make the game better as well? Just the inclusion of double tap and maybe PH Flopper. So I actually thought this would go on a lot longer, but when you're talking by yourself, you seem to be able to rattle through things at quite a steady pace. So that's about it for this Milky Jo Zombie show. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I will be back for another Milky Jo Zombie show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, this has been Milky Jo, and thank you for listening. Thank you.